Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped. Something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
It's funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I listened to a previous recording, about half of it, and then when I went back to it after our little time away, it was no longer there. Is there a time limit on? There is. Okay.
Yeah, I would say there's a time limit. It's more of a space limit. So every 2 or 3 weeks, I have to clear my Zoom account gets full. I have copies of everything, and I can always share them from my own cloud storage, or in the future, there's lots of ways to share them. But yeah, and most people, sorry about that. Most people do run into that problem. They find their recording is missing, and I apologize.
That's all good.
But yeah, in the future, when you do get the link, you can download it from Zoom, and then you have your own copy.
Yeah.
And you can always just ask me to share the copy that I keep. I have it in the cloud, so I can I can make a link. I can go find it and make a link for you.
Yeah, I kind of partly do and then partly don't, I guess. In a way, I kind of think that's what came out of me. That's fine. It's gone. I don't need to refer to that. And then there's another part that's, well, we haven't finished that yet. Let's finish that. Let's see.
All right. Well, I can tell you that I just listened back to it in its entirety less than an hour ago, and I took notes. So even if we didn't touch on any of those topics or choose to go back to any of that, I have it in my RAM and in my context window for potential dot connecting, or I can read you those notes, or I can, however we can use those or not.
Yeah. Do you have any preference? Is it a good idea to start with those notes as a prompt? Either or?
Yeah, I would say either or. The fact that you and I have only worked together once before, if this was our 10th call, I might feel more strongly about let's stay on this thread now that it's come up. But I don't know. Maybe you have 20 other things that are calling for your attention that I'm unaware of. So, yeah.
Well, I'm also unaware of them at this point. So I have had thoughts, things come up and internally, of course, and well, not necessarily, of course, but I have, but I don't recall them at this point. So,
okay.
yeah, again, either or, really.
All right. How would you like if we have a minute of meditation? You can look around, see if anything comes up. And if not, I'm happy to read the notes or find other ways to find parts.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'll set a timer.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Anything come up? Any parts that you'd like to get to know better?
I had thoughts of my time back in England and the fact that I stayed with caught up again with my brother, my sister, their families, and my father. My mum passed a few years ago, and so he's alone now, getting on a bit. And we stayed with him a fair bit, which is always going to be testing. For me, we have a history of a fairly a relationship full of disagreements, I suppose. And his inability to really take on board any different point of view or opinion. So naturally, I found that challenging, and sort of at points became, I can't do this. I've had enough of this. The familiarity of being shut down, silenced, or attempted to, and more as I, sort of started to develop my own opinions, which is when our relationship started to go a little bit more rocky. And sort of, I guess, having those feelings again. So that's what started to come into my mind during that minute.
Yeah.
The
feelings of I can't do this, I've had enough.
Just knowing that it's not going to go anywhere, but feeling frustrated by the fact that it's not going to go anywhere, and that things are the same. I would offer that the same as most people. I want to be heard by my parents.
That's right.
Yes. And the realization that that's not going to happen, unless, of course, it's the opinion is matching, and that's. There's a resignation that comes in there. Okay, this isn't going to happen now, so let's just try and accept that and move on. But it's not necessarily that easy to do.
No, it's not.
So there's you keep running at that brick wall, or you choose to not. But when you're in when you're there, when you're in the same place together, and of course, to a point communicating, then it's a lot more difficult, not being there. Okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get sucked in. I'm not going to, or I'm going to do this, and this way I'll make myself heard. When you're there, the frustration is back, and this is not going to change. This is not going to change. He's an elderly man now. It's not going. He's becoming more narrow and closed-minded, so it's not going to change now.
And having the distance, that is kind of, I can see how that is also makes it easier to accept and move on. It's like, well, I am moved on, I'm on the other side of the world, and we're not chatting every day or whatever, then that is also a kind of acceptance of. But yeah, I can just see how that is also thrown back in to the mix when you're in close proximity.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, very much so. There's a lot of images in my mind now of the particular place where he likes to sit. So I guess seeing that's the foremost in my mind, then I no doubt there's no doubt there's stuff there. No doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can.
I'm sure that there is. I'm sure that there is. One way that I'm often phrasing the very first question I ask people is if they have any parts they'd like to get to know better or change their relationship with. And that creates a hint of an agenda, of like, well, this didn't go the way I wanted it to go, and I want to meet with these parts. And so I would pose that again in, like, I'm hearing that there's emotion and parts up around that relationship, especially when you're there. But I'm wondering if your experience and your system's experience is something needs to change, or something is, still like unsettled, or just needs your attention. Because again, I'm sure we could find all kinds of interesting connections and stuff around that. But yeah, I'm wondering if anything's calling out like it wants your attention around that.
I'm not sure. Look, well, I am sure. There are undoubtedly parts within me that would like some sort of resolution there. It's a long-term thing. It's a long-term thing, this. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Feels like you are. As much as
Sure.
information you have that you're not sure if any part is asking for your attention now, but you are sure that things have felt unresolved, and there are parts in you that would like some resolution in some aspects of this.
Yes, there's no doubt that there are parts that are within a part of me that would like some resolution. I had those thoughts beforehand, and quite often around any sort of communications. No doubt.
Okay.
I'm just trying to tune in mentally,
Perfect.
physically here to
Perfect.
see what's.
Yeah, and if you are able to connect with that part, you could ask it if it would like to have some attention, and for us to learn more about it now.
I feel a little bit. There's a reluctance.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reluctance in there to there's a sort of feeling of hiding. That's the word that comes up.
Okay.
It's a little bit unsure.
Okay.
About this.
Yeah. Let all the parts know that nobody has to do anything. If it wants, it could tell you why it's hiding. Or anything it wants you to know.
Nothing coming up as yet, James.
It's fine.
And you know, the logical part of my brain is of me is you know, seeing how that would be the case. These are very deep, very meaningful wants from a relationship, a very important, meaningful relationship. So it, you know, goes back a long, long time. Those frustrations.
Yes, so it is. That is quite logical and reasonable, I believe, as well. If I was hypothesizing, you might even have, you know, several parts around that. So at first blush, it's a part is hiding, but maybe there's other parts that are telling it to hide. Maybe it has something that it is hiding. You know, yes, they're all so connected that, yeah, it's probably lots of parts involved.
I think that's would be very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little job shifting out of my mind.
I'm not sure I caught that.
I'm just finding it difficult to shift out of my thinking mind.
Okay. I want to welcome the thinking mind part. I met a rational part in our last conversation, and I enjoyed meeting it. And I knew before I met it that it was there for a good reason, and that was confirmed. If it has anything it wants to say. I also made the offer in our last conversation that I'm very happy to talk about the process or answer questions or, you know, the philosophy or anything. So
I keep thinking of, I think is it Thich Nhat Hanh who said that when you begin to think you're enlightened, go and spend a week with your parents.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which was,
yeah,
I guess give some you know, these things are very, very deep, very.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of process, another assumption I would make is when something feels very deep, when something, especially when we're with our parents, you know, I would assume that there are kind of exiles that I would assume that when you say we want to accept it and move on, that's kind of a part. There's a part that's, let's close the book on these let's make these painful feelings go away, and let's just somehow get to a fresh page, a fresh chapter here. And when you're with your dad, when anybody's with their parents, you know, that's usually when in our lives that we had exiles becoming exiled and so on. So it would just make so much sense that they would be kind of, those scars get kind of reopened, or remembered at least. And yeah, That's just my
and lived
interpretation.
again, I think too. No, I
Sure.
completely agree. Completely agree. There's a more childlike reaction in when you're in the presence again of those people. It's not a complete return to that age. I just realised that you did say this a few minutes ago, actually, but yeah, now I'm feeling that. There is a kind of return to not quite the childhood state, but echoes of
yes,
those times.
Yes.
And and you're also correct in that there will be a number of parts around perhaps this experience and certainly others. I was feeling tight. I'm feeling less so. I'm just trying to relax myself physically. Great. I'm feeling a bit heavy, as I often do in these emotional times. In the solar plexus.
There was a part labeled heavy in our last conversation.
Was there?
Yeah, it just showed up briefly, I believe, and its message was nothing's coming.
Uh-huh.
Which I'm not sure we explored very much, or that I have much clarity on myself.
When I feel emotional, upset, frustrated in any sort of exchange with people, it's a similar sort of heaviness, similar sort of weight and sadness in my solar plexus. In a variety of situations and a variety of experiences, I've become more aware of that.
Yeah. And how's your current awareness of it? Or how do you feel towards it at the moment?
I just called it a hurt. And there was a as I thought that, there was a more of a calm feeling and sort of relaxing of the face, less severe, a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to thank you for speaking for that, because I actually didn't catch it the first time you said it. So yeah, I kind of talked over you and didn't catch that word. So thank you.
I didn't feel that, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when you gave it that description, you experienced some relaxation.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a part being seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could do more of that. Whatever feels right for you.
Okay. There's voices in my mind that pop up saying, this is kind of too much, this is too much, this is too soon, this is too big.
Okay.
For this early stage.
Could be right.
Could be right.
Yeah.
There's also similar thoughts of no, let's do this. Let's look at this. This is what's there.
Yeah.
That may not be easy.
That's right. Yeah, and I have my own parts that agree with your parts. The slow down and speed up both.
Perhaps it's best if I talk a little bit about the relationship with my father, which was.
Does that work with the slow down part?
Maybe it's a.
Let it know it can jump back in if it needs to at any point.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a diversionary tactic or whether it's actually an inroad.
Okay. Yeah. If at any point in this conversation or any of ours, if anything doesn't feel right, or if a part is saying, "Hey, slow down," really want to respect that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So as I remember for the most part, the relationship with my father up to the point where I started to form and voice my own opinions was I guess I sort of adored my dad. I was sort of hero worshipped, probably a little bit strong, but as a young boy, my dad he was a good sportsman. I was also am, and we were very close. So we did have issues. The issues I had were more with my mum at an earlier age, which I believe I touched on last time. But when I it all started to go a little bit sort of wrong when I developed my own opinions and questioned my father's opinions, and then it's not something within the family environment that he really experienced. My brother,
yes,
was very much not of the questioning type. Whether he did in his mind and just chose to keep quiet, I think that's probably likely. He was the kind of good boy, and I probably for a few reasons wasn't able to swallow my differences of opinion or them be shut down. My mum just basically it got to the point where as they aged, if you asked her opinion, she'd practically look at my dad to ask what her opinion was. Not there was any kind of I think more her than him. She chose to not disagree.
Yeah.
A bit of both, of course, but so it wasn't really something that until I came along, and then a number of years later, my sister also had a similar strength of opinion and wouldn't hesitate to challenge. Younger sister, 8 years younger than me, 10 than my brother, so quite a gap.
Okay.
But yes, she was like me in that way, would challenge. So I think up until we came along, there was no challenge, there was no questioning. So what Dad's opinion was the opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about elsewhere.
Yeah. Or maybe there was questioning, but by the time you came along, it had stopped.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Impossible to say. We used to give my mum a bit of a hard time about it. Not sure about my brother. Certainly I did. I know my sister did as we grew up. Pointing out that she didn't have her own opinion and just followed Dad, and it became a bit of a. She always swore blind that she did. She just didn't do it in front of us.
Yeah.
I don't know why she thought that would be a good thing, but if that were true, even. Yeah. So anyway, my own experience was very much one of being, silenced in one way or another. And as I got older, into my teenage years and later teenage years, I completely refused to be silenced. I'm not going to be shut down,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Something I've noticed thank you for sharing that. Something I noticed in that and earlier, you talk about, your dad being closed-minded, and then you talk about you being silenced. And yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that there's more in there, right? Like there's something that goes from his closed-mindedness to you feeling silenced, that I'm very curious about.
I'm not sure I follow you, James.
Okay. I guess I'm saying him being closed-minded is just a statement about him, and you feeling silenced. There's and I can make, like, I'm sure it makes sense. But yeah, I am curious about how that came about, or when, and what it was like to feel silenced.
Yeah.
Because you're not saying, well, he shouted me down and maybe he did, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's a part of the story where the interaction I haven't heard.
Yeah, it wasn't shouted down. It would be, he would just shut down. Quite often return to the TV, or he would complain, as he did this time. Oh, if I say A, you say B. I'd say black, you will always say white. That sort of statement, which he actually said this time, because we had similar experiences, interactions.
So he's kind of accusing you of being confrontational or disagreeable.
Yes.
Yeah. And kind of dismissing the point you're making and saying, "Oh, this is just who you are. You're just negative."
Oh, completely. Yeah, I would be barely get the first sentence out, but the recognition that I wasn't in agreement, and that was that. And I remember this one really. We were at the dining table. TV was on a lot, which I grew to really dislike and still do. And he asked me a question. I can't remember what it was, just something general. What have you been up to? What's been going on? I can't remember exactly. And then as I went to answer, he looked, I'm sure not consciously, there was no sort of intent here, turned turned and looked at the television, and I just blew up. I completely blew up. And when I say blew up, I don't mean actually got very angry and shouting and screaming, but I was very, please do not ask me questions if you are not interested in my answer and what I have to say.
That's what you said to him?
Yes, along the lines of, and he was shocked, flustered.
And is this just in this recent trip? Or are you talking about a
no?
I'm
talking about probably 17.
Okay,
me. So that's quite a long time ago now. Yeah, but it's one of those that it comes into my mind when I think of when I'm in that space of the frustrated space of our
right. That's the teen that won't be silenced.
No. No, and then I there's a bit of a air of somehow I've spoiled dinner. Yeah.
In you, or coming from him?
Oh, from him.
Yeah.
And probably my mum being uncomfortable. Oh, here we go again.
Right.
Yeah. Can't remember if my brother was there. Not really sure his take on it, all this, actually. I talked to my sister about it. We talked about it this time a bit. I've talked to her recently about my younger experiences with my mum, which she wasn't really aware of. It's good. We're close. My brother and I are close, but in a different way. I don't really remember talking to him about this sort of stuff. Yeah. My sister, more so, and more recently, more detailed, more my experiences. As I say, my mum passed a few years ago, so my sister's, she was very close to mum. Thinking was that my experience was similar to hers, and it wasn't.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And a lot of my experiences were before my sister existed, as such.
Yes. Well, yes, especially if it is true that there wasn't questioning of your dad, for example, until you came along, then that would make you the tip of the spear in that regard. Something that your sister didn't have to experience.
No, I think she was in charge when it came to the relationship with between her and mum. I just folded my arms across my chest.
Okay.
Just noticed that.
Yeah, check in. I was going to ask, how are parts in you responding to you sharing that story?
I wandered off the track a little bit. The intended track was to look at the relationship with my father and sort of wandered off that a little, but I guess that happens. It does with me.
It's fine by me. I appreciate the detail.
I'm a little bit tired again. I'm just trying to work with that, loosen up, relax. I feel a bit looser around the chest, actually, for talking.
Yeah. Earlier you mentioned when you used the word hurt, that maybe helped you feel looser.
It definitely hurt. Definitely a deep hurt. Yeah, we want acceptance. I want acceptance from both my parents.
Okay.
And it hurts to not have that.
Yeah.
Or even be heard, even if there's not acceptance of my expressed views, different things. Acceptance of me, yes, doesn't mean you have to agree with my views.
Right.
Accept that I'm entitled to hold them.
That's right. Yeah, that's what you were missing then, and it still hurts.
Yeah. I think I shut down a little bit emotionally towards the end of the trip, and in order to get through that, it spoke of that resignation that these things aren't going to be met, heard.
Yeah,
and so just close that.
Right.
That doorway, that
right.
possibility.
Which you were also calling accept and move on.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's your own part saying like, okay, here's us accepting that we won't feel accepted.
Yeah. I remember actually doing a little bit of parts work when I was there, just to soothe and smooth that being okay. I have no control over how someone else will be, so I have a choice then to be hurt by it or not. I just recalled that actually. It was in the middle of the night.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that that's it. It's not like, well,
yes.
That's
it doesn't mean
let's
that,
move on.
Exactly. Yep. I made a note to myself earlier today with the same wording that there's something I'm facing that is ultimately a choice, but that also just means it's a part. And yeah, that doesn't mean so I'm going to flip a switch, but it does mean I have some power in this sphere. And that's probably how I would offer to frame that is the choice is connecting yourself with your parts. If otherwise they don't have that leadership and they don't have that protection. They have only the status quo of the protectors that have been coming up since I was 5 years old. Often and there's development there, but a lot of times that's what it can feel like, and that feels more choiceless compared to I recognize these feelings in me and I can work with them. I can tend to them.
I feel more at peace with you. I guess you can be confirming where I got to.
Yeah.
Where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it doesn't go away. Of course, it doesn't go away. It's been like that. It's been there a long time. Those parts have been.
Well, the good news is that you're great at noticing them and speaking for them. And that is a huge early step to helping them and healing them.
Uh-huh. Are they always there? You talk about healing them. Is there a point where these things are, in your experience, healed?
Yes, that's the language I would use.
Okay.
So,
does that mean disappeared?
No.
No.
So, it's a family.
Yeah.
And there's a hurt child. And what can you do for a hurt child? A lot, you know?
Yeah. The child doesn't cease to exist. It just becomes
right. And their memory of that experience isn't going to cease to exist, although it can be kind of rewritten, and it can be. I use the word explained. It's not the right word, but self's perspective can enter and help younger parts or all parts understand and also trust that there is an adult here, so to speak. There is someone looking out for me,
supporting
and understanding.
Yeah.
And
listening
and validating and listening. Right.
I guess explained doesn't really cut it because it's not on the emotional level, which is what's required.
Right. Although we also have those rational parts that want an explanation, and we can do that too. So
I certainly do. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, and it's making a lot of sense. Physically, emotionally to me.
Mm-hmm. So even if we didn't go there today, we could set an intention to, or you could even send that part a message that you've got his number and you're aware of it and I'm aware of it. And you see that hurt.
I think we have been there, James, actually.
Okay. I guess I'm saying, even if we're not going further in, I don't want to make any promises, especially, we had parts saying maybe don't go too deep. We've already talked for however long we've talked. So I'm just wanting to send that message more explicitly that is an option, even if it's not something we take many more steps with today.
Sure.
And to send it the message,
Yeah. And I feel that I feel certain that there's a lot more in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel a lot lighter, a lot more at peace than I did.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes just voicing the understanding or repeating the understanding that I made a few weeks ago. That and of course we know this again logically, that we have no choice in these situations as to really affecting the other person. It's just
right.
Ameliorating how it
how it affects
its effect on us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was good to see my kids with their granddad. They actually, yeah. We had some good time.
They had some good times?
Yeah, we all did. I think them being there, well, there's absolutely no doubt that they pulled him up a little and made him more aware of himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The first half of what you said there got cut off or too choppy for me to understand, but I heard the pulling him up part.
Yeah. I'm sort of I'm getting the feeling that it's not really relevant here. There's that voice in my head. This isn't relevant right now.
Okay. All right.
Not sure what it is.
Yeah, maybe ask your parts. What's next? Return to that first question. Does anybody need your attention at this time? Or would you like to come to a close or set an intention?
Okay, what I'm getting now is the sense of connection that I had, that we had, with our native home. Being back in the spring in England, south of England, was when we arrived there. Most of the trees were just beginning to shoot their leaves.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we left after 3 weeks, you could barely see through the woods.
Nice.
And all the sounds, the bird song, the smells, the sights, the feeling, all those things were recalled, evoked, all those memories. I lived majority till my mid-20s in England. My son was born there. He was very aware of it. We left when he was 4.5 to Australia. My daughter was very young. She was 21, 22 months when we left, so she wasn't really part of the 3 out of the 4 that were expressing those feelings.
Yeah.
It was strong that this is a part of me.
Sure.
I'm a part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes for really good trailheads. It makes for, all the feelings that come up over there. And with your father, they're, even however challenging they are opportunities and trailheads to get to know parts and get to know yourself and in that world.
There was part of me that wanted to stay. There's definitely part of me that wanted to go. Wanted to be back here.
After 3 weeks?
Wanted to stay? Yeah, I think probably because it was only 3 weeks in a way. There are also feelings that it feels a lot more troubled than where we now live. Sorry. The natural side of it, the natural world side of it, was, as I said, it's definitely a part of me. I'm a part of it, and that felt wonderful.
Yeah.
And of course, catching up with friends, however briefly, it's all new and exciting and fun. And but there's also in more sort of suburban, urban areas, there's not such a lovely feel. It can be quite angry.
Yeah.
A lot of anger there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I was going to say palpable. It's probably an exaggeration, but you certainly feel it.
Sure.
Yeah. Guess they're the same thing, aren't they?
Sure.
But yeah, I'm sort of back there now in a way, in the woods.
How do you mean?
I can see it in my mind. Can hear it in my mind. I can't quite actually smell it, but I can see the smells, if that makes sense. I always loved nature as a kid, so it's not surprising that the feelings are particularly strong and joyful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got a lot of my joy from nature.
Yeah.
And still do.
Yeah. All good trailheads. I think a lot of times people who are doing this work or any kind of therapeutic kind of work, they're starting with a problem. And that probably makes sense most of the time, but you can also learn a lot and meet a lot of parts starting with here's the things I love and here's the things that, you know.
I'm thinking of my son, actually, what he said, wondering if it applies to me. He was when we went back, he would have been 8 or 9. He went to the house where he was born. He was born at home. And he got very uncharacteristically upset for a long time. We slept in the house. We were in between. We sold the house, but it hadn't actually been. They hadn't moved in, so we had a set of keys, and the rooms that we were doing inspection, and ended up staying overnight in the room that I essentially built and decorated for him that he never actually stayed in. And we slept in that room, and he was inconsolably upset for hours.
Yeah.
And we didn't really connect why so much at the time. I guess we were so occupied with being with him.
Yes.
Yeah. And he said this time, why? What? I think taking me from here probably. And he hesitated, and I said, "Do you mind if I swear, James?"
Oh, sure.
He said, and I said, "Fucked you up?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, I thought that for a while, but avoided saying it to you. And I asked him not to avoid saying things to us. But it was good. It was good for him to.
Yeah, it's great that he feels safe to say
even
it.
if I said it for him, he said it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I knew that he. Yeah.
That's empathizing and understanding, and it takes your own courage. It takes your own courage to put that out there.
Yeah, I'm also wondering. I'm wondering how much that move. I've done a lot of moving. Does that fuck me up? I don't think so. But I'm wondering all the time.
Well, I think IFS is a new way to examine that, or could be a way to examine that. I mean, we're talking. You were talking about feelings that come up when I'm with my dad, and we're starting to look back as to where those originated from, how far those go back, and in the same way, it's like you take your 8-year-old back to that room, and he starts crying, and you can't explain it at first, right? It's like right. I can maybe try to be with it, or I can, but you don't know until you do have that communication, until you do meet the 4-year-old in you and in him, and go to the source in that way.
It was actually 2.5 when we left that house. We left England a couple of years later. Yeah, a bit happened in between. He got a sister. Yeah, it seems obvious again. This is the logical mind, I believe. It seems obvious that if I feel a part of it feels a part of me. That there's a scar from the separation, the absence. But I also get a great joy from the same, essentially the same but different here. Nature, wildlife, those wonders of the world. But yeah, suspect there's a scar from the absence.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yep. Again, parts you could get to know, and you could, if there was healing to do there, I would imagine it would be, what was the loss that they experienced, and what do they need from you now in order to protect them from experiencing that again, or to give them some of what they want, and maybe are still longing for, in a way that works for you today.
It's interesting. I notice as I identify these things and I talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lightness, there's an openness. I'm now sitting with my arms wide open and my chest exposed, as opposed to, and you know, I'm looking up and there was a smile on my face, and it feels that just the identifying the recognition and
absolutely
the voicing, it has at least some effect. It may not
absolutely
be, but
yeah, you're speaking for parts.
And
you're doing it in a way that's honest. You know, it's not colored by a bunch of other parts that are saying, well, here's why this was a dumb idea. I should, you know, whatever else all these other parts can say, right? It's just speaking for them in a clear way. And I totally agree that, you know, for me, and I'm doing solo work, my solo work every day, and that's still often kind of the 80-20, the bulk of the work that even I feel like needs to be done in me is I've just taken the time to name and see and be open to what's going on in me right now. And so often that is a huge relief for parts. If they're not seen and they're not known, then they need to get louder, or something's got to give.
Yeah.
You
open the door a little, and doesn't necessarily have to fling the door open and march in. You can just open that little crack and
and it doesn't have to be a formalized or concrete process. Although I still will regularly stick to the script, especially when I'm working with someone else. That's just kind of my best guess and my best rule of thumb when I'm working with someone else. But as you come to do it, you find more and more of your own way, and gets efficient.
Yeah. I do it when I'm, as when I was in England and here, I do try to have awareness around parts, and there's certainly no format, there's certainly no process, but it feels good. It feels good when I do it.
Yeah.
Which is everything.
Yeah.
Actually, that begs the question: is it everything?
It's everything to many traditions, mindfulness, and I believe that IFS gives us the next steps of okay, now that I see you, what are we doing together? What is our dialogue? What is my intention?
Yeah. I guess.
But the mindfulness is a necessary first step, and it is often sufficient in bringing a lot of relief and natural self, naturally responding with openness.
It is mindfulness, isn't it? It hadn't occurred to me that there was what we now call mindfulness, but it is.
Yeah.
I guess what I meant was it feels good. So that's I can't remember exactly the words I used, but the point. But and as I said it, I thought, well, is that the point? Feeling good, because feeling bad's okay as well, and that's also the point. I suppose, look, that's for me to ruminate on. I think
I would bring you back to the family analogy. if there's a hurt child, it's very important to be mindful of that. And sometimes that also happens to be the medicine that they needed. But yeah, I do think that there's more that can be done in healing. And to answer your question of, what's the point? The answer would be just as complicated as, what's the point of being mindful of the child in your family that's hurt and helping them out.
I'm getting
maybe not complicated, but hard to put in words.
Yeah, it's again, it's something I'm going to think about.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm getting nagging in the last few minutes. I'm getting nagging little voices saying that's enough for now.
Yeah, well, you've done a lot, and maybe it's enough for now.
Yeah, perhaps I should honor that.
You also mentioned being jet lagged, so I know when I was jet lagged recently, it was about a week off from me feeling very competent at doing anything. So
yeah, it's more the sleep.
Yeah.
Well, that's having the biggest effect. The waking up in the night. Still, I'm about a week in now almost. So hopefully, as with you, that'll be sort of pretty much the end of it.
Hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look, I feel good with that. I feel good with
great. Okay.
What we've done.
I'm going to send you the call. Download it if you want. And if you try to do that on a phone, it's kind of tricky. So let me know and I can give you instructions if you are trying to do that on a phone instead of a desktop. And the booking calendar should reopen this weekend. And I'd love to keep working with you if you're interested. Yeah, no, I am absolutely, James. Yeah, I was hoping to get one in the middle there, but it was just too difficult. Yeah, as you know. Okay, yeah, it will be a phone. We are looking at getting another desktop. Okay.
But it will be a phone for now.
Okay. Do you know how to click? Do you know how to click on request desktop site? To ring a bell? Okay, I'll send you a screenshot.
Please do. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Walk me through it. I'm not the best at that sort of stuff.
Got it.
Good on you.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Okay, take care. Thanks, James.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.